When Germany surrendered in 1945 and what was left of their military forces was paraded in front of the Allies, many remarked upon how poor the supply line was. It is true that Germany's front line consisted of expert fighting men equipped with elite weaponry, but behind such a facade was horse and cart, rope and pulley, mum and pop. Appearance is an amazing thing. The character of Darth Vader is no different. Today I aim to share with you the Vader I saw in the late 70s and early 80s. Now, this may differ to your interpretation of the character or how Vader is depicted these days in films. But that's okay. I think we can all agree that it is a matter of interpretation. Unlike many contemporary viewers, I never saw him as some kind of acrobatic shaman leaping through corridors and bouncing off walls. This was not the character that was presented to us in the late 70s and early 80s. I remember when I was about 5 at our local Sunday school, one of the more manic teachers got dressed up as Vader and began kicking and throwing chairs at the audience during a pantomime. This was his act, his critique of Vader. This was the 1970s. Sure, he looks fearful enough, head to toe in black, hellishly tall, skull-faced and domed helmet to situate him as a death trooper. He also throws rebel force leaders against walls, force chokes commanders and strikes down Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm not alone in saying that he was a figure of haunt to me and my friends as a child. When Empire Strikes Back came along, Luke Skywalker had changed from an idealistic farm boy to a frightened adolescent. In a lot of ways, he's like us, children, haunted by Vader. In this second installment, Luke is denied both the freedom and comfort of his flowing farm boy attire, and instead is kicked around and horrifically injured by his father whilst wearing serviceman fatigues that make him look like a frightened schoolboy than the free spirit of the original film. In short, Luke in Empire is a child, a boy who both in his nightmares and in reality is victim to an abusive father. And this is important in establishing his character arc. In fact, towards the start of the film, Luke is kept warm in the belly of a Tauntaun. Luke as baby is later repeated in the medical bay scene when he is seen wearing nappies in some kind of life-preserving tank, reminiscent of a mother's womb. When Return of the Jedi comes round, Luke has evolved and we get to see what is really behind Vader's mask. For years we waited. We needed confirmation on his claim as Luke's father, and we needed to see how he would finally fare against the growing, competent Knight of the Sword. And it came down to one moment, 20 seconds to be exact. In what is perhaps the most revealing part of the trilogy, I think, even more revealing than the "I'm your father" scene, we see how physically weak Vader really is. Luke rises from the floor and begins wielding his lightsaber at his father with anger, and we see the real state of Vader's health. How much of a facade he has really been displaying. In a space of a minute, he is sent hurtling back, wheezing and clutching rails like the Elephant Man did in a film just a few years before. Luke shows no mercy as he beats upon his aged father. In this scene, there is nothing coordinated or skilled about Luke's wielding of the weapon. It is sloppy and anger-fueled. You could read that Luke's training has led him to finally be able to dominate his father, but I question this. You see, Darth Vader, the more machine now than man embodiment, was always weak. There is a reason why Han Solo delivers the lines "simple tricks and nonsense." Because lifting objects and force choking are demonstrations of the spectacular, designed to impress and to create the illusion of power. There is a reason why there is a Death Star in Star Wars. The Death Star is not birthed from magic, but from science. It is a pragmatic piece of technology that does everything someone like Vader wishes they could do. Yet we fear Vader's thumb and forefinger more than we did the Death Star firepower, because we are accustomed to smoke and mirrors. There is also a reason why Force users wield lightsabers, because hokey religions are no match for a good weapon by your side. It is sad to see Vader wheezing and falling back as his son lashes out at him. Not because we were supporting Vader and his quest for absolute power, but because we realized the facade of power was the only thing keeping him alive. A great counter-argument to what I am suggesting is to look at the Emperor and his lightning-generated hands. Yes, this is something that you do not want to be on the receiving end of. But I'm sure anyone in the Star Wars galaxy could operate a tool that could do exactly the same thing. And look how little this lightning hands matters when the weakest man in the room is able to lift him from his feet and hurl him down a reactor shaft. Now, I'm not arguing that the Vader I see is correct. He has had several incarnations at the hands of several writers throughout the years. But I do believe Star Wars is more than a story about mighty magical men, just as much as it is more than about space stations in the sky. Essentially, it is about the masks we wear and the truths we seek. Some people may feel that I'm reading too much into this, and perhaps they're right. I'm automatically discounting what has been in films since Lucas left the helm, or what is in books or the extended universe. I'm doing this because this is the Vader I saw as a child, and this is the only Vader I have ever known. The early Star Wars films has influenced me greatly as a filmmaker. On January 15, 2021, I will be premiering my film, Quest for Steel, on Vimeo on demand for a measly $4.99 US. Now, my film is more than about the legend of the first steel sword. It is everything I've come to love about fantasy. Now, before I share with you something from the film, please hit a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to my channel. I look forward to providing you with more fantasy content. Thank you.
This sword calls to someone now, and that someone is your friend, Do Jing.
If she is successful, becomes ruler of the lands, what then? The Black Horde puts to torch all peoples as if they were barred here.
You think a magic steel sword is going to make a difference when you have a bronze blade poking about your gizzards?
Don't tell me claiming her position is to be your action.
Your message will not reach Doe. It will remain with you. What if I were to provide you with the riddle of the gods, so you can seize what's truly yours?
Arrogance is the regular playbill of those who play in this theater, and we look on without stab of pity when death results from decision of fault.
Quiet your tongue, heretic. To question this sword is only to do so in the most submissive of voices, lest it should take your tone for disrespect and hack you to pieces and all you hold dear.